All right, guys, you're about to see one of the weekly calls that we actually have within our free community. This is the second weekly call we had, and the format we kind of chose for this one was more so of a Q&A style. So you're about to see different insights on automation, operations, even different things like working developers. It's kind of a lot we covered in a short half an hour. This record is meant to be more sort of an insight on what some of these weekly calls actually look like. Like I said, we do have different formats. The first week we did sort of a live breakdown. The second week we're doing a Q&A. And every single week we're evolving to make sure we kind of best suits the needs of different people within the agency. So if any of this sounds interesting, then I'm sure you're gonna love this video. And I'll let you get straight to the actual recording of the second weekly call we had in our Scale Proof Agency Help community.
I am I'm an agency partner out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We're a full service digital marketing agency, almost full service. We don't have our own video department, but we have a partner for that. There's 26 of us in our agency. We're about $3 million a year. We Our IP is the Hero Mission Strategy, which is what going to be kind of what my webinar is about next week. We're a
Nice,
HubSpot partner as well.
nice. And you're based in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right, Bas, do you want to go next?
Sure, yeah. So I'm Bas. I'm from Amsterdam. I have an agency that makes explainer videos. And I've been automating stuff for myself,
Nice.
just for fun. And it's gotten a bit out of hand, where I'm just all the time trying to automate everything, which is fun, and it actually helps me. I just had yesterday a talk with someone. And then I just fill out a form while we're talking. I scrape some stuff from the website and I get a beautiful proposal that I can send immediately,
Nice.
which took me a lot of time before. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm having fun with it.
nice, man. Whereabouts are you based from, if I missed it?
I'm in Weesp, which is like part of Amsterdam.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Nice. Who's next? Who's next? Don't be shy, guys. Selena,
I
how's
don't
it going?
mind going next. Hey guys, my name's Selena. I'm the customer success manager at Fluxomate. Sorry, my camera's off. I'm a bit ill today. But anyways, in terms of my job role, yeah, I'm less on the technical side. I'm more so manage communications between customers, make sure our clients are having like a good experience and like relay back information to them. And yeah, really excited to see you all.
Nice. Cool. Anyone else? James? Sai? Maybe they're feeling a bit shy.
Yeah, it's always hard.
Yeah. All right, cool, guys. Well, listen, I'll open the floor. If you're a bit shy to ask the questions, like I said, I've got some questions I can go through to kind of get the ball rolling. But if anyone has a question, now's your chance.
Yeah, actually, I'm struggling
Nice.
with something that I have an automation setup. I'm trying to make a marketing assessment scoreboard for people
Nice.
to fill out. And then obviously, whenever you fill it out, they will get a PDF sent to them that just shows them with a couple of graphs where they are and where they can
Yeah.
improve. And obviously, I can improve them.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Um, so I'm pretty far. The form is working. The information is coming in. The scoring is kind of working, albeit with too many steps, but I can finish that later when I'm a bit more advanced. But
Yeah.
the thing that's not happening is that it puts back the scores into a form in Sheets, and then it makes charts. It does that in Sheets itself, and then you can import those charts into Google Slides, and Google Slides shows them as a nice pie chart for
Yeah.
like 6 categories. But that all works, but then I have to go in manually to update those charts because it just shows the last person's scores actually. Actually, it shows the new scores, but the charts don't update. And
Interesting.
it's possible, but it's like an API thing, I think. And it's just a bit over my head.
Okay, cool. So just to make sure I understood that properly, this is a lead magnet, right? Or is this for
Yeah,
existing clients? It's a
yeah,
lead magnet. Cool.
Yeah.
So they go ahead and complete a form. Where's that form hosted? Is it Google form?
No, I have something from AppSumo.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah,
But that has an API, right? You can connect that. That's not an issue.
yeah, no, that's not the
Yeah.
issue. It
Perfect. Cool.
just makes it into a Google Sheet automatically. So yeah.
Yeah. And when it makes into a Google Sheet, is it an individual Google Sheet for each person that's actually coming in?
It's an individual row.
Individual row in the Google Sheet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And is the presentation individual for each person in the Google Slides?
Yeah, I mean, it's just for the person. Yeah, they only see their part, of course. It's not going to see someone else's thing.
Is one presentation for each person?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Nice. Cool. And the issue is that the actual charts, which are linked to that specific row in the Google Sheet, isn't
Mhm.
updating. Is that what the issue is?
Yes.
Cool. Perfect. Now, Google Slides and just Google Sheets in general are very, very cool because you have this thing called VBA. Now, I remember in the past, I've set up something similar. The only difference is that it would be the same Google Sheet, but rather than a lead magnet, it would basically be a proposal with custom charts and similar to what you're doing, kind of. Now, the issue that we found when we actually built that out was that the charts weren't automatically reloading. So someone had to come in and actually reload the different pages, and
Yeah.
it wasn't showing the relevant information. Um, the way we actually solved that was using VBA. Now, it's not too complicated. And honestly, you can get around with using ChatGPT to basically generate that code. I don't know if it's I forgot what it is, but it's very, very simple. You can use ChatGPT to actually generate it. And I'll share my screen now just to give you a quick example. I won't pull up um, the
I mean, if
actual
it's,
code.
maybe if it's too much for this, for this talk, then maybe we should just skip it, and I will look into it, try to fix it with ChatGPT,
Yeah,
and
yeah. So I'll just give you a quick indication at least, so you have an idea.
Hey, this is a great
So
topic. I'm interested in this.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, VBA is really, really interesting. I mean, one of the reasons we actually still use kind of Google Sheets specifically when it comes to the KPI stuff that we're actually tracking is because the things you can do with VBA are really immense. I mean, you even set up your own custom applications in Google Sheets just by utilizing the VBA code. Let me find, okay, we'll go for this one and I'll just share my screen. Cool. So I don't know if any of you watched the health score video. This is the Google Sheet that we actually used in that video. Let me just share my screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Dun, dun, dun. All right, let me know if and when you can actually see my screen.
Yeah,
yeah.
I can see it.
Perfect, cool. So yeah, this is the Google Sheet that we used in the health score video. Basically just a health score tracker. Nothing interesting. There's no VBA code here, but just to show you how you can actually access it. If you go over to the tools, or is it extensions? Yeah. And you go to the app script. Now I can't open it because I'm not logged in as the account that owns it. But if you open up the app script, that's basically where you can go ahead and actually create that VBA code. Like I said, there's so much different things you can do. It's a very, very cool application. To be honest, I was going to record a video on it like 2 months ago, but I didn't think it'll be of interest enough because it's quite a niche topic. But if it's something that'd be valuable, there's a lot of different things you can do. At one point, we were even going down the road of actually hiring someone to specialize just in the VBA. So I've got someone as well if you guys need help with that. But yeah, very, very impressive topic. I think, Rob, I mean, Bass, sorry. I think that'll be a solution to your problem because I had the same thing with the charts one basically updating it. So every single time we actually created a sheet, what we basically did, we send a webhook to the specific VBA code in the app script, and that automatically kind of refreshed it so you don't have to do it manually.
Okay. Yeah.
But what I would suggest, Rob, I mean, Bass, sorry, I keep on getting you guys confused. What I would suggest is rather than having it, and obviously it depends if you'd like to do this, but I think it would be easier than rather than having everyone on the same Google Sheet to potentially, no, actually, no, never mind. It'll just overcomplicate it. Have it on the same Google Sheet, send the kind of webhook or whatever to create the Google Slides, and then send another webhook to the actual API within the app script VBA, which they have a bunch of tutorials online as well you can kind of check out, and use that to automatically update the sheets. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think what makes sense as well is the sentence you didn't finish, because it got me thinking what's he trying to say. And I think you're trying to say create like a template sheet and then
That's what I was gonna say. Yes, yes.
and then
But I
have that.
think it might be unnecessarily complicated. But obviously, it kind of depends on the situation, right? I mean, if it's just, I mean, how many kind of different data points are you tracking for each person within the sheet?
Not that much. It's like 7 categories. Yeah.
7. Is it like numbers or is it like text?
Well, I mean, no, I mean, in the end, there's numbers coming out for that,
Numbers.
and it's
Nice.
also there's also text, but yeah.
Nice. So maybe another thing that might potentially, and I'll send you a video after the call. I'll write it down so I don't forget. I recently recorded a video going over interactive lead magnets, which is kind of similar to what you're doing here.
Yeah.
The only difference there is rather than having it on a Google slide, it's sort of a form, and at the end of the form, it automatically shows them a graph. I'll send you the link to the video and also the software you can use. I think it's relatively inexpensive, maybe $20 a month, something like that. But you can still do it with the kind of Google Sheets side of things if you'd like. But it'll be a good experience, the VBA anyways, because like I said, there's a lot you can do with it. But alternatively, you can also kind of check it out. I'll send it to you after the video, after this call, sorry.
Great, thank you. I mean, I may make a Loom or something, also put it in the group, if
Nice.
you.
Yeah, perfect. I'll go ahead and do that. Perfect. Cool. Well, great question, Rob. Hopefully that helps.
Thank you.
Are you automatically sharing that report too? So is the automation allowing you to share that report once it's generated to the person that's filled out the form?
Yeah, well, the idea is obviously that they give their email address, so it will download the PDF and send the PDF in a automated email.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
There's a
And
lot of stuff you can
yeah,
do
it
with
should
those
have some
slides.
links, obviously, also UTM tracked links to the website.
Nice. Cool. All right. Anyone else have any questions? Like I said, I do have some questions on the side I can kind of go over. All right, perfect, cool. So, we'll go over some questions. I've got quite a lot to be honest to get through. I don't think we'll get through all of them. Let's see. Okay, out of interest, and I did this in the community maybe a month back. But who here is a Zapier user and who here is a Make.com user?
I'm both.
Both, nice. Rob,
I'm
I know
neither.
you're just getting started with that stuff,
I'm
but I
neither.
think you neither.
I'm gonna go away from Zapier though, because yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I use both as well, I'll be honest. I use both for different tools. A question I get all the time on YouTube, and I don't want to make a whole video on it because there's maybe hundreds of videos going over the difference between Zapier and Make.com. But I'll just give you my 2 pieces on it here. Now, I think at the end of the day, what these companies are doing, they're basically very, very similar. It's just kind of the way they're structured and the way they actually present themselves to you is the part that's different. In terms of Zapier, I think it's a bit more beginner friendly. I mean, I think a lot of people start off with using Zapier, kind of like Bass, I'm guessing, and then they move over to something like Mate.com, where you have a bit more flexibility. Now, just because you have a bit more flexibility, it doesn't mean that you can't do certain things on Zapier that you can do on Make.com, because at the end of the day, all you're doing is basically repackaging different APIs. So if you can read API documentation, some of the things you can do on Make, you can do on Zapier. Some of the things that you can do on Zapier, you can do on Make. But in terms of a beginner standpoint, I think Make.com nowadays is making it a bit more accessible for everyone. They have so many more tutorials coming out. The documentation is really, really up to date. So in my opinion, I think try out both. I mean, they all have free trials that you can basically check out um, and find which one works best for you. Like I said, a lot of people start off on Zapier, but Zapier, especially when you start really, really using it a lot, it can get very expensive. It can get very expensive, especially compared to Make.
Is anyone on Nathan, by the way? And Nathan?
I don't think so now. I
I've
think I've heard
played
of that
with
though.
I've played with Make, which I actually like Make. We see a lot of people using Zapier where it just seems to periodically fail. It like works 85% of the time, and then I don't know. Then something fails, and then they don't know how to go in and fix it because somebody else set it up for them, and they can't get in contact with the original person that set it up for them, and it's like it ends up being a headache for them.
No, it is a massive problem in kind of this. I'd say in the automation space. I wouldn't directly put myself in automation space, but let's just call it that to make life a bit easier. With people, basically, they set up specific automations, for example, or let's say internal platforms, and I don't know if the right word is gatekeep, right? But they basically withhold all the information onto how it was developed, how to maintain it, right? In order with the aim of basically making sure they stay on that monthly retainer. It's a massive problem in this industry. I mean, even sometimes with my different team members, right? Because we have a couple of automation developers, I have to make it very, very clear, like, okay, everything we're building out, we have to build out in a way that will be easier for anyone to manage it in the future. Because obviously it is an option after kind of a program to let us maintain the systems that we build out, but it's completely optional. And I make it very, very clear to the whole team that whenever we're building these different things out, we need to create very, very easy to use user guides. So if they wanted to, they can easily maintain it by themselves. So I definitely get what you mean, Rob. But I think it's a massive problem in this industry. And it's similar to what you see with developers, right? When developers actually go ahead and create some sort of software, sometimes, if you're working with a bad crowd of people, they'll make it impossible for you to actually maintain a software by yourself with the aims of actually having you trapped basically because they build it. You don't know how they build it. And you're basically forced to have them payment a retainer every single month. I mean, you deal with developers, Rob. I mean, I can imagine
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
must have an idea of how that goes, right?
We ran into that actually with a client where they had a WordPress site and half of it was just hard coded without any sort of documentation. So we had to rebuild the entire theme for that company. And it's that's a really good selling point for you, by the way, because I use that as a selling point because there are agencies out there that will gatekeep information, and
Yeah,
if the client leaves them, they have to start over from scratch. And I make
yeah.
it very clear up front that it's like it just builds a lot of trust. Everything we do for you, you own. If you want us to package it up and hand it over to you, we will gladly do that.
Yeah.
It's a
And to be
really
honest,
good selling point.
I learned that the hard way because back in the day, before I was doing the kind of operation side of things and I was mainly focused on automations, I'm not going to lie, I tried to do that exact same kind of model, right? Where you basically hold everything on your own account. But I had an interview with a client who actually ended up leaving us because we do exit interviews. If anyone wants to leave, we want to make sure we understand why they're actually leaving. So we basically improve the services, right? And one of the things that he said was, after we gave him access to kind of all the behind the scenes and how everything's working, he understood everything so much more clearly. And to me, that kind of self-alight, I was like, okay, cool. It pays off to be transparent because, like you said, it builds that trust, but also they don't feel that they're kind of stuck in a situation that they can't really get out of. So after that interview, literally going forward, I made it very, very clear to the team, everything you do, you need to document it, literally like you're teaching it to a 6-year-old. And that's kind of what we do from now, yeah. Cool. So that's Zapier versus Make covered. Like I said, I think my opinion is not really going to matter. I recommend you just kind of go through your own free trials. Both of them have not even free trials; they have free plans. I'm pretty sure that you can kind of even live off of, and just find the one that kind of works better for you. Zapier, I would say, is a bit more beginner friendly, but it can get very expensive, especially as you start using a lot more. What do they call them? Zaps. Yeah, Zaps. Make.com, I would say, is relatively harder to use. Not that it's complicated, but it's relatively compared to Zapier, a bit harder to use, but it is a bit cheaper, and there's a lot more you could do on the front end. Like I said, both of them you can do as much as you can with the other one, but on the kind of the surface level stuff, you can probably do a bit more with Make.com. Cool. Any other questions from anyone before I go to the next one? James, Sai, you've been awfully quiet, just lurking around. All right, no worries,
Has
guys.
anyone here used relevance AI?
Oh, how's it going, Sai?
Fine, bro.
Good, good. Nice to meet you, man.
Going
Nice
good.
to meet you.
Has anyone here used relevance AI?
Say that again. Sorry. Has anyone here used what?
Relevance AI.
Relevance AI. I haven't heard of it. No, that's tell a lie. I've heard of it. I don't even know exactly what it does.
It's an agent builder.
Agent builder. Oh, okay. But to be honest, I've ventured around with the agent side of things. I have a couple that helps us with different automations. In a lot of my videos, I always say this. If you're going to be using AI within different automations, for example, let's say BAS, right? Let's say within that graph, you wanted to incorporate some sort of AI aspect that automatically generated results. I always recommend creating your own agent on OpenAI and then using that within automation because you get much better results. I wish I had a screenshot that I can just automatically put here. Usually my editor does that, but the difference you get in the results is drastic.
Wait, what? You get better results from using the agent than using the actual module in Make?
Yeah,
I get
definitely.
that. It's the same prompt.
Exactly. But with the agent, right, you can upload your own kind of data that I can feed off of. So the way if you were to use the make.com module, whereas I forgot what it's called, but let's just call it send a message, right? Or start a chat, whatever. Uh, it uses all the data from all over the internet. If you were to create your own agent on OpenAI first and then use that in the chat with the system module, then rather than you kind of prioritizing all the data all over the world to kind of give you a response, it can firstly feed off the information you put in. So, for example, for our lead magnets, we basically present different potential solutions. One of the things we used to do was kind of optimize onboarding processes. So we basically uploaded a file with a bunch of optimized processes based on kind of the feedback, and it uses that to basically generate the new ones, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So
And
if you're using,
I'm also doing the same thing with some of the automations. Some I do in Make,
nice.
but then when I know I need to have like my own company's tone of voice, I have an assistant set up that that translates that.
Exactly, because you get much better results with using the actual agent. Also, one thing we actually started implementing, I don't know if any of you guys are kind of familiar with kind of the internal platform side of things that we do, where we basically set up, let's say, custom project management system, different things like that. And one thing we recently started doing, I'll say recently, literally within the month, we started setting up bot press bots within the actual kind of CRMs or project management tools that we're actually building. And within those bots, we're basically feeding them all the different user guides and database. So if someone has a question, rather than having to message one of us or having to message one of the executives on the actual for our partners, they just go ahead and answer the chatbot, kind of like a customer support chatbot, right? And it's helped quite a lot, decrease any amount of support tickets for specifically our partners um, employers or let's say the clients who are actually using the platform. So that might potentially be of interest. I was thinking of recording a video for that as well, but didn't get around to it, to be honest.
Sounds very interesting though.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. Because to be honest, I tried to stay as far away from bots as I can because last year there was a massive way around them. And I think people were just using them for the wrong use cases. I mean, they were charging thousands to set up a random bot, which realistically won't be used that much. But I think in certain applications, they do have, very, very valuable use cases.
Well, I mean, it's the thing that's most interesting to me anyway on YouTube is finding use cases that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, yeah. But I think kind of the key to that as well is taking it as inspiration, right? And this is something I was planning on talking about within the community itself, but there's a lot of automation channels which will show you amazing automations, which are super, super complicated. And I think you can get in a kind of trap or massive temptation to, okay, cool, let me set this up. I need this right now. But in all honesty, I think a lot of automations are distracting. And that sounds crazy coming from someone that does actually automation towards myself. But I think the key thing you need to automate is the things that you identify for your specific business. Like, for example, the videos, and I stopped doing them, but I used to do videos like, okay, cool, 22 automations you need in your agency or different things like that. But everyone has kind of their own set of circumstances or certain set of procedures or systems that they need to automate. And what I said in one of my recent videos that hopefully is coming out end of this week, but I say, cool, these are some automation examples, but in reality, these are just examples that, I've seen, but you don't have to use them. The real examples that you need to automate are the things that you identified in a previous stage, because just for context in the video, I basically went over how to basically figure out what you need to automate. So yeah, I think there's a lot of automation tutorials coming out recently. I think you have to be kind of careful to take inspiration from them because I think there's a lot of things you can see and be like, oh wow, I never knew you could do that, and then integrating kind of your own thought process. But I'll be mindful of just automating something for the sake of automating because it can be a very, very dangerous trap.
I think that's where you can add a lot of value too. It's like automate, but don't automate everything. Like, because
Yeah,
you're in the space, and I think when a lot of people start with the whole automation process, they're like, and I think I said that in one of the comments, it's like, let's automate everything, and then all of a sudden, like things are happening, and you're like, wait a second, this is not what we needed.
yeah.
So just because you know so much about automation, you can actually recommend what should and should not be automated based off of looking at their processes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for example, I had some clients, they wanted to automate their customer support as an agency. And I was like, no, you do not do that by any means necessary. Obviously, there's some aspects you can do, but I think a big part of the agency space, and mostly everyone here is an agency owner, so it's a bit different. But is the human relationship they actually form with your clients. Obviously the results are an important part of it as well. But if you don't have the relationship and you're just automating everything through a robot, is it efficient? Yes. Can you do that at scale? Yes. But your lifetime value is not going to be anywhere near someone who actually takes the time to interact with someone like a human. So I think it's something that sometimes I kind of need to not argue with clients about, but kind of push it to them a bit more. I know Selena's laughing because we've gone through this quite a lot with a lot of different people.
Yeah, no, but it's always beneficial though, because like some
Yeah.
people, they obviously come to us a lot of the times because they don't know what to expect. So it's your duty to give them like your honest advice, as opposed to just building out anything that you can, do you know what I mean? Anything that they expect that they want.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why we shifted. Just for context, before we kind of doing this operation kind of 6-month program side of things, we were basically running an unlimited automation build for a monthly retainer, right? And we were doing that for maybe about 5 months, something like that. And what we found out that people were coming in and they wanted to build this automation, that automation. But if I were to tell them, I was like, I don't think that's the best thing to do, because I was more so of an automation builder rather than someone that had expertise on operations that actually give them advice that streamline different things, they wouldn't really hear me out. And literally what ended up happening, right? We'd have people, we'd build amazing systems, amazing automations, which on the front end looked, oh, this is amazing, but in reality had no real use case. And that's something I tried to explain to people before, but you can guess what ended up happening. 2 months in, they ended up leaving, because they got a lot of value from building these cool tools that in reality they never use. And it just wasn't a win-win for everyone, which is why we basically had to make that shift.
It's interesting. In HubSpot, like lead scoring, for example,
Mm.
we'll have clients that sell high ticket items, have all of 2 sales reps and get maybe 4 or 5 leads a week, and they want to implement lead scoring. And we're like,
Yeah.
you're not being overwhelmed by lead.
Doesn't
Like
make sense.
just
Exactly.
talk to
Yeah.
the leads and have them
Exactly.
manually scored. I mean, you don't need automated lead scoring for this.
Literally. And the same thing with
But
kind
you
of
hear lead
qualifying.
scoring and you're like, oh, I need this.
Exactly. No, that issue, and that's why I was kind of saying it's a bit not dangerous, but you need to be mindful when watching different YouTube tutorials, because you see a lot of things like it's exciting. It's like, cool, I need to do this, but it might not be the best use of time. For example, qualifying leads. If you're having maybe like 5 sales calls a month, you don't need to qualify your leads. Just hop on a sales call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. But cool, guys. Listen, I know we've got 1 minute left. I want to unlock the scale-proof roadmap for everyone here, as promised. Let's see. We have the chat currently outside. Oh, no worries, James. No worries. It's good to have you here, anyways. I think Rob already has access. I think Sai has access as well. But Bass and James, I'll go ahead and give you access.
Thank you.
No worries, man. How did you find this cool, by the way, guys? Do you kind of like this kind of question format?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's
Great. The time is great for me too.
Okay, perfect. Cool. So let's go ahead and give Bass access, and then I'll go ahead and give James access. Cool, guys. For those of you who just got access, it'll load now within the next minute or so. To find the skill-proof roadmap, it's in the classroom section. You'll see it's the 3rd course there. I will say it's very, very detailed. It'll take quite a long time to kind of go through it, but it's literally a complete step-by-step breakdown on how we get our clients' results. So it's extremely valuable. Take your time. There's a lot of different examples, case studies, different things like that. And if you have any questions, please use the community. It's the #1 place to go to. And then I'll just give James access. Cool, perfect. And another thing, guys, feel free to I'll make a post about this call. Don't hesitate to show everyone else how much fun we had today. Because the more numbers we get in here, the more valuable it become for you guys, basically.
Cool.
Excellent.
Cool, guys. Cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
today. I hope this was valuable. Sorry for it being a bit short. Like I said, I promise to make it up to you guys next time. We'll maybe go a bit more in depth into different topics. And thank you very much for kind of being active in the community and obviously attending these calls. This community is going to keep on growing and growing. And having you guys kind of as the founding members means a lot to me, because the more valuable you can make this, the more valuable you can make this, the more people are actually going to be coming in here, and the more valuable people are going to be coming here, right? So, bigger agency owners can provide us with even more insights than what we currently have. So thank you guys so much for attending and kind of taking time out of your day to help us basically grow this community, because it's going to be a win-win for everyone over time.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Cool, man. Thank you so much, guys. All right.
Thanks,
See ya.
See you next
Bye,
week.
guys.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that's the weekly recording basically finished. If any of that sounded interesting, you can join the community using the first link in the description. Like I said, it is 100% free, so make sure to actually use the most of these different resources we put out there. Within there, you have access to all different automation templates we ever created, the Airtable templates, the databases, all the different mind maps, the resources, and you also get access to the scale-proof roadmap, which is literally a step-by-step guide on how we set up scale-proof systems for our own clients. So you can just literally copy and paste that within your agency. It's extremely detailed. It's got about 39 different modules, about 450 different examples, and I believe 1,200 minutes of video content, which is pretty wild. So it's very, very detailed. So if you want access to all of that for free, along with these weekly calls, one-to-one access to myself and a community with over 130 different agency owners who are looking to actually set up scale-proof systems in their agencies, you can join for free using the first link in the description. Over time, this community is going to keep on growing and growing and become the #1 place for agency owners to actually go to when looking to set up scale-proof systems. So if you want to join the kind of early founder stage of this community, then feel free to join using the first link in the description and mark your spot. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I won't be publishing every single one of the recordings of a call. This is more so to give you guys a test of what you're actually missing out by not being a part of the community and taking part in our weekly calls. So if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe and actually check out the first link in the description to join our free community. That's it from me, guys. See you in the next one. Bye bye.